everyone. In today's video, we'll talk about QuickApp's locking mechanism and explore how to set it up. As always, let's begin with our example. I'm opening the sales budget application we created earlier. This time, I'll select the 2024 winter sales season and load the data. Since I'm filming this video in August 2024, I've chosen the 2024 winter season. Now, let's consider a scenario. For instance, July 2024 is now complete, so we may want to lock this month entirely and allow data entry starting from August onwards. This is exactly the situation where QuickApp's locking mechanism comes into play. As you know, users can manually lock by pressing Ctrl+L, but here we are referring to locking that happens automatically by the system. We will do it as follows. We need to develop a structure that locks the months before the current one by checking the year and months based on the sales channel and sales season. Let's create the necessary development for calendar locking. I'm closing the screen. From the QuickApp tab, I open the Edit Applications application. Load the sales budget from the Pools section, and then load the previously created pools. Notice that we have a field called DB field for lock here. Essentially, to set up the locking mechanism, we need to inform QuickApp to use a specific field within a pool for locking. Now, we could create a lock field in one of my existing pools, meaning we could use a previously used pool for locking, or we can create a new pool. I will now create a new pool by using the Pool Wizard and selecting New Pool Wizard. I'll name it Calendar Lock. I choose Blue Earth as the connection. The source will be Inner Command. And for the pool source text, I'll paste the code I've already prepared. If we take a look at this code, what we're doing is reading the sales channels, sales seasons, merch year, and merch month from the sales season calendar. If this merch year and month are earlier than the current month, we set it to 1. Otherwise, we set it to 0. This value of 1 means that this merch year and month will be locked. Then, I click OK. I navigate to the Data tab, click Load, and view the data. I press the Auto Set Key Fields button to automatically assign fields that will match the application fields. By clicking Auto Set Filters, I link the pool to the workspace filters, ensuring that it only fetches data for the sales channel and sales season selected by the user. The next step is to drag and drop the field I'll use for locking into the lock field area. I'll change the refresh time from on load to on filter change, so it will only refresh the data when filters are changed. So, we've created our calendar lock pool and informed QuickApp that it should use the locked field for the DB field for lock. That's all we need to do. Now, let's reopen the sales budget screen. After loading the data for the 24 winter season, as you can see, the 7th month is automatically locked. From the 8th month onward, users will be able to enter data. This way, when the user tries to input data into any cell in the 7th month, they will receive a non-editable warning for the locked cells, and the changes will be reverted. Yes, we can use this example not only to lock completed months and prevent data entry, while allowing input for future months, especially when setting up in season planning systems, but also for various other purposes. For example, our business rule could be like this. Remember our plan statuses, like working plan, pending plan, and approved plan. Previously, we didn't allow changes in approved plan or pending approval through the editable rule. In other words, when a user tried to input data into editable values, it was not permitted, and this was enforced via the editable rule. But let's say we want to change our business rule like this. For example, once the manager approves a budget that has been submitted for approval, we want the total of the brand at the monthly level to remain fixed, while allowing the user to make changes in the approved plan. In that case, we would need to lock the monthly subtotals for the brand, rather than locking all cells. Let's now demonstrate this with an example. I'll click Close again and return to the Pools application. My calendar lock pool will remain. But I'll create a new pool for another lock. This time, I'll name the pool brand lock. The connection will still be Blue Earth. I'll again use an inner command. And I'll paste the query I prepared earlier into the source text field. Now let's take a look at this query. What we're doing here is first reading the sales channel, sales season, merch year, and merch month from the sales season calendar. Then, from the product hierarchy, we select the brand level and set plan status ID equals to 3 and locked equals 2. After that, we cross-join these queries. In the select part, we include the sales channel, sales season, merch year, merch month, brand, plan status, and locked fields, thus completing our query. Now let's check the data. When we view the data, we're essentially saying, for this sales channel, sales season, merch year, and merch month, with plan status ID equal to 3, the locked value should be 2. As you recall, we set the locked value to 1 in the calendar lock. Here, we set it to 2, meaning that the subtotal is locked. I click Auto Set Key Fields to match the pool with the appropriate fields. By clicking Auto Set Filters, I ensure it matches with workspace filters. Then, I tell QuickApp that I'll be using the locked field as the locking field. I again set the refresh time to on filter change. By clicking OK, I now lock the brand total for records with a plan status of 3. I'm reopening the sales budget application and loading the data. As we can see, the 7th month is completely locked, but the 8th month is not. Even the total for the brand isn't locked at the moment. However, once I select the approved plan, click Refresh, and go back to the 8th month, you'll notice that this time, the subtotals for the 8th month are locked. However, the details are not locked, meaning that the user can still input data in the details. However, any data entered will not alter the overall total. In this example, since there's no budget currently in the approval plan, no changes can be made. Let's do it now. I'm returning to the working plan. We'll only plan the sales unit. Let's plan sales units in some areas. For example, let's plan 100 units here, 20 units there, 50 units here, and just for the sake of variety, we'll plan 450 units in another area. The total now stands at 620 units. Finally, by planning another 180 units here, we've created a sales budget of 800 units. Now, let's submit this budget for approval. I've saved my changes and submitted them all for approval. Right now, these changes we've made will appear as pending approval. Of course, we haven't yet written a locking mechanism for pending approval, so let's adjust that. Meaning, let's not only lock totals in the approved plan, but also in pending approval. So I'm closing this and reopening the Brand Lock Source tab. This time, I'll lock for both plan status ID 3 and 2. By taking the code and adding plan status ID 2 with a union all. Now, I'm opening the sales budget application again and loading the data. Let's go to pending approval status. Now let's look at the 8th month. The total for the 8th month is 800 and is locked. This means that I can now make changes in the details, but the total of 800 will remain unchanged. For instance, when I try to change 20 to 100, it won't allow it because we haven't removed the editable rule. Let's remove the editable rule. I'm going to value. Loading the data. And for now, let's remove the rule for sales units only. Yes, let's disable the editable rule for sales units. Clear. OK. Let's reopen the sales budget application and reload the data. Now, when we go to pending approval and check the 8th month, the total is still 800 and fixed. I changed 20 to 100. Yes, this field changes to 100, but the totals of other product groups are adjusted. Why? Because even though I want to change it to 100, our business rule dictates that the total must remain at 800 units. Therefore, QuickApp automatically adjusts the other product group's budgets to ensure the total remains 800 units. I believe these two examples should be sufficient to understand the locking mechanism. You can implement similar locking mechanisms in your applications based on your specific scenarios and business rules. See you in the next video. Take care.